Why is it a narcissist can just not see our point of view or just go around hurting people without a care about who they hurt? A narcissist uses lots of different manipulation methods to keep people confused, from all their gaslighting, pity plays, silent treatments, projection, then now and again the reinforcement of them playing nice so that we doubt ourselves. And they do this to keep us in that state of mind, that confusion, that trance, and further away from the reality of the truth. And the narcissist will then use blame shifting all their problems onto us so that we doubt our own thoughts. Then when we doubt our decision making skills, we become trapped within the narcissist's web of lies. While in the relationship, most of us have questions like, why are they so angry over nothing? What have I done this time? Where have they gone? What did I do? How can I get them to talk to me? What's the matter with them now? And this is how a narcissist gets you. They have you questioning everything about your own behaviour and how you need to try and find ways to improve to help them. When in reality, no matter who you are or what you do, it'll never be good enough for a narcissist. They are always looking for more. The only person you need to be good enough for, the only person you need to be in competition with, and the only person whose happiness you have full control over is your own. After the relationship, it's questions like, who are they? Why will they just not leave me alone? How can they do stuff like this? Because of our emotional attachment to them, their manipulative games and their smear campaigns, the way they discard in hideous ways, or even when we decide enough is enough, even with the trauma bond, and walk away, their treatment of us hurts. And as our logical thinking regarding them is usually attached to our emotional thinking, we cannot logically think why someone would treat us so wrong, as we wouldn't do that to another. With all their manipulation over us, it keeps us in the dark as to who they indeed are, for way longer than it ever should have. What most people want to know is why someone would treat someone so wrong and in so many ways, and there's just so many whys. Understanding a narcissist's toxic logic may help you distance your emotional attachment to them and understand why they are so cruel and do what they do without a care for who they hurt along the way. Understanding their toxic logic, it gives you more awareness of why they say and do things that they do, and it can give you a deeper understanding of why they act certain ways towards you, why they provoke responses, and why most people on the narcissistic personality disorder spectrum are the way they are and don't change, and help you give your reality back. Things like when you've arranged to go on a day out with them, or with friends or family, or to a special occasion that's coming up, or a special occasion that's the next day, and you try your best to start the day right. You have an idea of what they can be like, so you try and do everything you can to avoid them turning nasty and keep them in the nice mood. You make them a nice breakfast that they've most likely been guilt tripping you about throughout the night before. Yeah, when they come down to take a bite and they throw it all in the bin, or they just swipe it all onto the floor, then they sulk off upstairs and you've no idea as to what you've done wrong. You know if you chase after them, all hell will break loose, so you decide to leave them to it and clean up. And then they come down a little later like nothing ever happened, with no apology, possibly barely saying a word to you, or demanding your help in finding something to help them get ready. And perhaps putting you down with words like, are you really going to wear that? From our point of view, we've tried to do something nice for them. We've had to clean up after them. From the narcissist point of view, we criticised them the night before by not readily agreeing to their demands. Therefore, they awoke grumpily and chose the fact that we hadn't cooked their bacon just how they want it, to throw the plate on the floor or throw the food in the bin. And as we're supposed to be going out with friends for the day or whatever special occasion that is, something the narcissist doesn't want to do is they'll not be the centre of attention. They go all out to send your mind all over the place before you even head out of the door. Of course, then, when we turn up to meet the friends or to that special occasion, we're all over the place thinking about what's happened, puzzled and questioning ourselves, not daring to ask for fear of reactions because we've been trained to walk on eggshells around them. Thinking about whether you should have worn that different outfit because the narcissist has placed that self-doubt into you. Or while the narcissist is then acting happy and normal with everybody else and yet cold towards you. They may suddenly start trying to make a joke with you or tickle you or say something just a little bit out just to send you on your edge. Which, because your emotions are then running on a high, your thoughts are all over the place, you react because of the morning's events, and to people that are around, the narcissist looks happy and in a playful mood and in a good mood, and you're the one that comes across looking grumpy as they don't see the events that led up to it. Meaning the next time the narcissist sees them all without you, the narcissist can go and smear your name about how miserable you were that day, and they've got the reactions from you on that day to match up to the words that they're saying. They just don't give that full story. A narcissist logic isn't the same as our logic. How they think, to them, everything is black and white. There's no middle ground, no grey area. It's their way or you get punished away. And you have to work out what their way is when their logic is completely different to yours, because their logic is their logic. Yours is one with empathy towards other people that wants to help other people. They have no empathy towards other people and they want to exploit people. They feel like they are superior and have to be in full control of everything and everyone any way they can. They lie that much that their lack of cognitive reflection skills, most believe their own lies, as once they've made their reality, to them that's their truth. They don't think they're responsible for anything that goes wrong within their life, and they are never to blame. They don't think anything is ever their fault, and they always blame those around them. They rewrite history to escape accountability, and their version of events is all they need to know. They seek attention and validation. They want emotional reactions from people, negative or positive attention. They need others' emotions to cover up their own deeply hidden insecurities. They do believe they are special and above all others, and that their needs should be met first and foremost by anybody and everybody. They will take, but they will not give. They've got that double standards, where most things in life, there isn't really a good deed you can do without getting some form of reward for doing so. Yet most people don't do a good deed for the reward. They do the good deed because they want to do it. Whereas a narcissist is only looking for how they can gain from whatever they do. They are self-entitled and believe they are allowed to do what they want whenever they want, and that the rules do not apply to them. They don't have the empathy to care for others, so they just don't get how their actions would harm another. And if they do, they don't care. They cannot relate to how someone else might feel. Only their feelings matter to them. If you do exactly what they want, when they want, exactly how they want, they will treat you well. And it's your job to work out what they want and how they want it. But as they change the game, this is an impossible task to do. You can never ever please them because they'll always want more. If you don't get it right the first time, you are wrong and they will punish you. They have no guilt or remorse. They twist everything onto you so that they do not feel any form of shame. Anyone who demands anything from them or is deemed to them as controlling, to the narcissist as controlling, to the narcissist, this is unacceptable, as they are the ones to be in control of all others. They do not care for the feelings of other people, and they do not truly understand them. They only care for their own. They are not looking for the middle ground. They are not looking for compromise. They are looking for their way. Anyone who criticised them, perceived criticism, real criticism, or just not criticise them at all, but if they think someone has criticised them, they think that person is against them, and that person is bad, that person is terrible, and that person needs to be punished. Anyone who questions their superiority over others, to a narcissist, is deep criticism. The narcissist then feels that person must be punished because criticism hurts them. And that's when their inner rage often flares up and they must punish other people. They do not care for other people's boundaries. They accept these as a challenge to be broken down. To the narcissist, the world is against them and they are forced to do what they do to stay on top, protect themselves and win at all cost. They just believe that they are in the right and all others are in the wrong, and what they do justifies the end result that they get. They are extremely negative thinkers, and when minds are consumed with negativity, people often end up living negative, toxic lives. Their thinking is toxic, and they use and abuse all those around them in one form or another to meet their own needs without any guilt. Their manipulation through pity plays, gaslighting, fear, blame shifting, they just have to win. They simply do not care for anyone other than themselves. So things like no contact if you can, grey rock and no reaction is the key to breaking free. Taking control of your mind, your life, how you want to live, and leaving them to live their own way. So how do you take back control of your thoughts? Like anything in life, you have to make the conscious decision to take back control of your thoughts. We have like a default mode and a direct mode. Default is when we're on autopilot, going around our day-to-day business, thoughts popping into our heads, and direct is when we consciously think about things and do things on purpose. So we've got that subconscious behind running our programming and our thoughts within our minds, and then our conscious taking over. And it takes time, it takes practice, it takes patience, it takes decision making to think how you want to think. You kind of like resetting your mindset. And it's a process because of limiting beliefs and negative thoughts that have usually been programmed into you by somebody else over a long period of time, which then we just repeat. And just because someone in our past trained us to think or feel a certain way doesn't mean we have to live the rest of our lives in that negativity, that fear, that stress, that anxiety. Yes, it takes work. Yes, you've been through some hideous experiences, but you have the power to make the choice to shift those out of your mind and move on with your life. If you allow your subconscious thoughts to be on the why me, what else could go wrong? I'm not happy. I can't do this. I'm not worthy. I'll never be good enough. No one will ever love me. Does no one care about me? I'm a failure. All those sorts of thoughts, it's going to bring you down. It's going to limit you. It's going to hold you back. It's going to keep you in that negative past. It's going to keep you locked and keep you trapped. And it's easy to focus on these things when these things have been your reality and you can see them. You know that they've happened. Life can be hard. Life can be cruel. And you don't deny the experience that you've lived or been through. But you need to shift out of that experience and start using your imagination to create a new experience. And it is a learning curve, like learning anything new, like learning any new skill, like learning any new sport, like learning to swim, learning to ride a bike. It takes time, it takes practice, and it's going to be the same when it comes to learning to change your thinking. So when you are reprogramming your thinking skills, you need to watch carefully on how you talk to yourself. So if you're thinking things like, I'm not good enough, I cannot trust anyone, life's just too hard, my heart's had enough, I don't even know where to start rebuilding my life, then you're going to stay on that pattern of, I don't know where to start, I can't do this. And it keeps you locked in those beliefs. And you've got to ask yourself, what have these beliefs cost me in my past? And write them down. What do they cost me today? And write them down. And then once you've recognised your subconscious thoughts, you need to consciously change them. Switch those limiting beliefs, catch the negative thoughts, take back control of your thinking. So no more, no one will love me. It needs to be that the right people will love me. I don't know where to start needs to be, I'm going to find where I start. It's a bit like connecting the dots. In the relationship, you don't really know what happens. It's once out of a narcissistic relationship that you connect the dots up and see what happened. So you've kind of got to imagine yourself in the future to where you want to be, get there, and then connect the dots backwards, but on a positive path now. So no more I'm not good enough, more I'm good enough for me and the right people will understand me. No more I don't trust anyone, I trust my instincts. You've got to become a deliberate thinker, making a decision and taking actions on those decisions. You're allowed mistakes. We're all allowed mistakes with good intentions. No wrong way or right way to live your life. Just learn from the mistake and go again. Be kind to those who are kind to you and walk free from those who bring you inner pain. Albert Einstein, the significant problems we face cannot be solved with the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. So you've got to consciously make the decisions, make the choices, take action on them, and consciously reprogram your subconscious with your conscious thinking abilities. You can do it, other people can do it. Get your imagination. You can imagine when you've got to see a narcissist of all the bad stuff that's going to happen, and it runs around your head and it sets your emotions off. It's not a good place to be. I've lived that. It's not fun. So now you've got to start using that imagination to work for you. You create that situation on an event that happened in the past, thinking that it's going to happen in the future. And you've got to now use that imagination. I know it's difficult to start, but it does help to start how you want life to work out for you and what things you want from life now. Really catch your thoughts, really write down those negative thoughts and really start putting those uplifting thoughts in your mind to create that life that you deserve. Thank you for listening. Bye.